So we're back here with another video for throwback today. This time we are running enhanced portal. Because the list is mostly single copies of cards, except for like your Cutthroat or your Judith. Most of your cards are single copies. It's a bit of a pain in the ass to go through the entire list, and also there's a lot of variants of what you can choose to run or not run, and there's a lot of personal preference in there. So I would just, for the deck list, I guess I would just stick with what the cards that I think are absolutely necessary for the deck. Yeah, and then so these are the cards that I think you absolutely want to run in any enhanced portal deck. First of all, we had the whole Cutthroat package. Cutthroat, his Ironforge right hand, Black Grass Underling, Smeltwork Bodyguard. These are your enhanced. Oh, and also Azvaldt, I guess, and also Judith. Judith is kind of basically a condemned card as well, so we just count her as a condemned card. So this is your condemned package. For Azvaldt, you can choose to run one more copy if you want. I only run one, but you can run two if you want. This is just at minimum. I think at minimum you should be running at least one copy, but if you really want to cut it, you can, I guess. And then for Black Grass Underling, most people don't run it at 3. I think most people run it at 2 because while the Storm is like nice and all, it's actually pretty low value as far as the enhanced cards in this deck goes. It's a nice bit of damage you can, I guess, sort of use in the early to mid game, but once your late game enhanced effects start becoming active, this card can be a bit underwhelming, so we only run it at 2. And also because we want to maximize our chances of drawing Cutthroat with type searches like Azvaldt or Freya as well, which you can also run. And then other than that, we also run a bunch of other cards. First of all, Summon Divine Treasure. This enhanced effect is absolutely ridiculous. It summons out 1 of 3 amulets. Shield of Regression and Eternal Dogma are the ones you use the most. Sometimes Spear of Judgment comes in handy, but most of the time you're using Shield to survive or using Dogma to draw. And then also summons 2 followers, a 5/5 Ward Rush that gives you a copy of this spell that can summon another amulet. And also this 7/7 Rush Ward that also has Strike to deal 3 damage to the enemy leader. So this card is just absolutely ridiculous in this deck, so you're always running it. There's no way around not running it. Xion, extremely powerful card. Near indestructible ward that also lets you be immune to effect damage for a turn. It's good against basically every deck that's played right now, except maybe Spell Boost if you want to. Even Spell Boost has trouble with Xion because they need to save Winged Inversion for her. But yeah, Xion is just extremely strong, so we definitely run one copy of her. There's no way around it. Steel Surfer, I mean, some people don't run it, but I consider it a staple in this deck. It just gives Storm to Cutthroat for turn 9 lethal. It just lets you enhance Cutthroat for 9 and then give it Storm for 20 damage guaranteed out of that. And then lastly, the point we want to cover is Jetpack. Okay, not lastly, but Jetpack Gunner. Enhance 8 can attack 3 times per turn. This effect is absolutely broken. You pay 2 PP for a 2/4 that can attack 3 times. That's not balanced. And because how powerful Jetpack Gunner is, we always run 1 Craftsman's Pride. There's literally no reason to not run this card. Mainly you use it to pick up a Forge Weaponry. The Puppet, you usually pick either or, but the main point of this card is the Forge Weaponry. Stick it on Jetpack Gunner, you can Storm for 24 damage. So yeah, that's why we run those 2 cards. And then finally we have Bahamut. This deck has a controlly game plan. Usually you don't necessarily burst people down from like turn 6 or 7. You usually wait until late game. So because this deck has a controlly game plan, and also because of how much PP you cheat out using Cutthroat's leader effect to make your enhance to recover play points, it's basically a match made in heaven for Baha. So we definitely run Ultimate Bahamut in here. It gives you win condition against basically every deck, even if you don't manage to kill them. It lets you win games. So yeah, that's these are the staple cards that I think are necessary to run. If you want to see the list that I'll be running for this video in particular, this is the entire list. I'll scroll through it slowly so you can look at it if you want, but there's a QR code also if you want to copy my list for some reason. But yeah, so these are the lists we'll be running for today's video. So yeah, with that, let's jump into the games. So our first match of the day will be against Blood, and we are going first. And then for Mulligan, we just look for Cutthroat. Ironforge right hand is basically Cutthroat, so we can definitely keep that. Just look for Cutthroat. And then other than that, if you already have Cutthroat in hand, you just look for early game high value cards like Chasm, which I have to pick up here. That's Steamrolling Tank, so this is Wrath. I mean, we expected it to be Wrath, right? I mean, it's Blood. What else are I gonna play? So Chasm is very strong, so we just get him down on board right away. We don't really need Lishana, so we can just put her back in the deck. Pick up an Angel's Blessing here, so depending on what my opponent does this turn, it might come in handy. Oh, there goes my opponent's board with Chasm. And then yeah, we have nothing to do here, so we just go ahead and use Angel's Blessing to draw. Try to look for better cards. We're gonna play Ironforge next turn for the enhance, so... Oh, of course there is the point of like, they can cheat out Blood Rose this turn because of the Demon Maestro, but since we have Ironforge right hand anyway, we don't really care. We can go ahead and clear this board very easily. And set up for our Cutthroat next turn as well, so pretty solid turn for us here. There's the Howling Scream from the opponent, again another Howling Scream. And there's the Vulnerate. They are in Wrath, I think. Yeah, they are in Wrath, so this will be the full buffed version, and they're gonna go ahead and evolve her as well, which is a bit annoying, but we have a ton of healing. Even in hand we see Guild Elite, so we're not super concerned. We go ahead and pop down the Cutthroat here. Go ahead and trade. Usually you want to be a bit careful about how you spend Ironforge right hand. So we go ahead and save her. Especially against decks that can suddenly go wide, like against Wrath. Maybe if they play like Vite or something, and then they instantly go wide. Not having the ability to clear it with something like Ironforge right hand can cause you to take a ton of damage. So we go ahead and save this for in case we need to clear a white board later on. And we go ahead and just sync this artifact. That spell has an enhanced effect, but currently it's not super useful for us, so we just go ahead and trade it in for generic draw using Analyzing Artifact. That's the Vayner from my opponent. They're gonna go ahead and deal a ton of damage to us. We do have to note they have 2 0-cost pings in their hand. Okay, now they have 1 because they spend a gift for Bloodkin. If you're playing Blood, don't do this. Like, hold on to those 0-cost pings for dear life, but my opponent this time didn't bother, so yeah. We go ahead and trade here, we go ahead and draw a card. We got Bad Katha here. Hard to use going first. So we go ahead and just pop down the Judith here to get a damage shield. The damage shield is like okay, it probably blocks 1 damage from Vulneric's token spell which they are holding. And then we can go ahead and use Ironforge to clear that board that we saved from last turn, and then finally heal up with Guild Elite. At this point we really have to, I mean we do have Jetpack Gunner with Bad Katha for I mean it's like what, 9 damage, not a lot I guess. So I mean Wrath pings themselves a lot, so if my opponent isn't careful and they ping themselves too much, they might put themselves in lethal range at this point, which we can hopefully look at. But they do have a Vampire Queen's Castle, and they go ahead and spend all of their Vulneric token spells. I don't know why they did that, seems insane to me, but I guess they do it. We take a ton of damage of course, and they heal up, so they are definitely not in lethal range here. But we need to heal up as well. Go ahead and play Smeltwork Bodyguard. We mill 1 card, but we don't really care. We have the key cards in hand anyway, so we just focus on healing and clearing board. Puppet Workout, once again, we don't really need it for the damage potential, so we just use it for clear. Then trade here. Get rid of the Vulneric. For this copy of Vulneric, we don't actually need to care that much because it will kill itself with Wings and Wing of Desire. It has the ability to deal 1 damage to all allies and enemies on strike, but the thing is that when it triggers, it dies, and then the following effects, even though there's 3 stacks of it on the Vulneric right now, only 1 actually activates and then it'll die. If they evolve it, then all 3 activates and then it'll still die by itself, so we don't really need to care about this Vulneric. We can just ignore it. Just set a War of Metatron and heal the Smeltwork Bodyguard to hopefully block anything insane they might do. As Raging Commander, it's fine, we're not dead to Gyaradeath anyway. We survive on 1 even if they have Gyaradeath here, so we are fine. There's the Howling Demon, so they will clear our board as well as deal a ton of damage to our face. And they heal the fool as well, so we don't have lethal here, but we are like very close to lethal anyway. 29 play points is a bit far for Bahamut. So at this point, we just need to survive this turn, and once we make it to the next turn, we win. So we go ahead and sink the Judith here, just to clear a follower. Actually, can clear Judith clears both. And then on 0 evil points, this applies to most decks, but on 0 evil points, Xion is an absolute nightmare to clear, so we can just drop down the Xion here. And then get a damage shield for good measure, and my opponent shouldn't be able to clear this, so I think I just win here. There's the Vite, opponent looking for an answer, and I believe they don't find it, so just concede here. So yeah, that's a solid showcase of this deck's control potential. So our next game here is against Rune, and we're going second. Rune has 3 decks. I don't know which one's the most popular, but I haven't seen any Sephi at all since the start of the well, I've seen like 1 or 2 maybe, but there isn't much Sephis running around, so I don't think this is Sephi. They play Wayfaring Goblin, which suddenly makes me think it is Sephi, so now we think it's Sephi. No reason to leave this alive, so we'll go ahead and clear that. Hold on to the Forge Weaponry here, just it might come in handy if we pick up Jetpack Gunner later on. That's Milady, so this is chess, so we need to keep that in mind now. Pick up Ironforge right hand, we can definitely just go ahead and trade her off with Milady. Against chess, the most obvious win condition is just to not let them play the king. If they can't play the king, they can't win the game usually. As long as you're being careful, of course. But most of the time, they shouldn't be able to win if they don't play king. So we go ahead and make sure our board remains as empty as possible so that our opponent won't be able to get enough pawns having left play. And there's the card Seer, which is a bit annoying, but it's fine. So unfortunately for here, we need to evolve Cutthroat, so there's no way around leaving a body on board for them to trade into, but it's fine. We go ahead and throw away 1 Cutthroat as well, I think. Remember correctly? Yeah, we'll go ahead and just toss the Cutthroat. We don't really need it, we only need 1 Cutthroat. The third one will get in the way with the Bane, so we just go ahead and toss it away while we don't need it right now. Or in general, really. That's the Milady from my opponent, so they are gonna go ahead and use card Seer here, which will give them a magical strategy. And they will use a magic missile to hit my face apparently. And then trade. So they do have a 0 cost pawn in their hand, I believe, so we'll keep that in mind. From this point forward, we definitely want to leave our board as empty as possible. We just try to get rid of the Milady. Thankfully, Judith missed. If Judith had hit Milady, we would just pass and not bother clearing anything, but since it didn't hit Milady here, we evolve Judith here and then trade her manually so that we can leave the board empty so that magical pawn won't be able to do anything. We have a lot of healing, so we don't have to care that much about their face damage here. There's the magical knight. Gonna take a bunch of damage here, which is fine. Once again, we are trying to not play too many cards here. Let's get how many. Opponent's at 5 pawns left play. Thankfully, we hit the knight there, so we don't have to deal with having to hit an extra pawn. I mean, if we didn't hit a knight, we just evolve Judith and trade again, so that's probably fine. Go ahead and use Black Rust Underling just to reduce damage, incoming damage a bit. Notably, my opponent is at 5 pawns left play, and we only have 2 defense worth of followers on board, so even if they trade, they're still 1 short, which is part of the plan. And I mean, if they have Winged Inversion and they use Winged Inversion on our follower and then trade their pawns, then they are in good shape, but most people don't know about that play, so hopefully my opponent doesn't either. There's a magical pawn from them, and a magic missile as well to get rid of my damage shield. And then go ahead and play a Metatron as well. And there's the pawn they were saving from Milady, and they're gonna go ahead and get rid of our Black Rust Underling. Hit us in the face. This turn there is genuinely nothing to do. Like, there's no reason to play any of these, so we just go ahead and pass. To explain more of why I passed here, what I'm looking at is next turn. This turn I pass, I'll take a bunch of damage and I'll go to a low health, of course, but then with cards like Judith, Uranus, Winged Inversion, I have a ton of healing in hand, so making use of those cards, I will just heal up on turn 8. And then even if they get 8 pawns left play by turn... after my turn 8, there's no point because they still have to wait one more turn for King to be discounted. But on turn 9, I can just kill them with Cutthroat plus Dune Surfer, so that's why I just passed. There's absolutely no reason to play any cards here. There is the Magical Knight from my opponent. Whether they evolve here doesn't matter or not. We mill Gilnelis, which is a bit of a shame. We definitely wanted Gilnelis there if we could have. Go ahead and heal. And then go ahead and trade as well. And then use Winged Diversion to heal a bit more. We can spend our Eagle Mode here, we really don't need it right now. And then here is an interesting position because we can choose to play Xion here, the main body, but the main body is not that valuable. They've already played 2 knights. There's no blitz in this game right now, and they can't play King yet, so the war on Xion is actually entirely unnecessary. So we are better off just... oh, well, apparently I played Xion. I don't know why. The Xion is honestly pretty unnecessary right now, because they have no storm damage, so at most I die to... oh well, I guess there is... it's Raining Blades. No, okay, I was actually a genius, sorry, let me correct myself. I think I was playing around It's Raining Blades, because if they manage to clear Xion with a bunch of... if they manage to stack a bunch of It's Raining Blades or something on the magical pawn, they might still kill me, so... in theory, playing Xion here as a very difficult to answer ward is helpful. There's the magical pawn. I mean, if they still have like a bunch of It's Raining Blades, they can still kill me here, but... it seems unlikely, I guess. Just hope they don't, and there's the check. Go ahead and clear our board, but they don't manage to kill us here because we denied their king for so long, so we can just go ahead and finish them off here. So yeah, the standard Cutthroat Dune Surfer combo. Probably seen it many times before already, but here it is again. Yes, it's for this game. Let's move on to the next one. So for our last game for today, we are going first against Sword. Sword is loot or commander. I haven't seen any rally. There probably is like maybe like 5 rally players on the ladder or something right now. But most of the players are playing either loot or commander, so we just expect those. Once again, we just look for Cutthroat. Unfortunately, don't manage to pick up Cutthroat here. Pick up Rosa, which is not Cutthroat, so we don't really want that. We can go ahead and just play Metatron here just to put an answer to that early aggro. There's Tidal Gunner, so this is definitely going to be loot. We definitely don't want to let Tidal Gunner live, so we go ahead and play Babkatha to buff the Metatron, and also to draw a card to try to find Cutthroat. And we do pick out Cutthroat here, so that's good. Let me go ahead and trade. No reason to go aggressively hitting face. We are a control deck. Go ahead and play Chivalrous Bandit, and then they just sink a Deep Sea Scout here, which is fine. We can definitely not let that live. So go ahead and play the top deck Chasm. Get rid of that, well, we don't get rid of it yet, but we will later. Then we'll just go ahead and play Rosa, just to improve our hand quality, draw more cards. Pick up both Jetpack Gunner and Xion, which are definitely good cards to have. And then there's the Octress from the opponent. So the good thing about going white here is that Octress is quite a... it makes it a bit hard to play Octress, because as you can see they do play Octress here, but unless they have a curated wave, which they don't, they can't actually clear this board. So our Babkatha this, we can chip a bit of damage here, which now that we see Jetpack Gunner in hand might actually become relevant at some point. So of course go ahead and evolve Cutthroat as Cutthroat players do. And then we go ahead and use the Ironforge right hand here just to draw deeper into our deck. And then Babkatha can just do a bit of damage here. And keep the Bane on board, which makes it maybe uncomfortable to play something like Octress. And there's the Arsene Lupin as well, which is fine. Lupin, I guess they're using for draw here. We don't really care that it removes our Bane because it dies anyway. And there's the Ultimate Hollow, which is not active yet. My opponent has already played, so important to note here, my opponent has already played 2 Ultimate Hollows, which means their healing is like quite low right now, so at this point I just say screw it and I just go Jetpack Gunner face. Honestly, this play might be a bit questionable to waste my damage source like that, but what's the worst that could happen, right? And then we go ahead and just play Gilnelis here just for tempo. We don't have evil points anyway, so Gilnelis is basically useless at this point, so we go ahead and just get rid of it. in technically, by putting 3 followers on board, next turn if I play Lish, if they clear my board here, I can play Lee Shenna for her to get all the cards if I wanted to. And there goes the Jetpack Gunner. It managed to eat a Remnant of Hollowness, which is very nice. At this point, we just have to... Well, we don't want to die next turn. And they are very low, but unfortunately, we don't quite have lethal here. We are 1 short, I believe. I think there's 1 short lethal. Like, you can play Cutthroat, Divine Treasure, get the Spear, but that's only 6 damage, so we are 1 short of lethal here, unfortunately. So the goal is to make sure we don't die here. So we go ahead and play Enhance. Well, we don't play Enhance, actually. So, I guess... Well, let me check. Wait, not this. My opponent is at 9 loots played. I didn't remember the... Actually, I can check the play order, right? Let's see what my opponent did here. They played, this. Wait, okay, let's see. They played their flag. Hold on, I'm sorry, this might be a waste of time, but I think it's important to pay attention to this. They played the Gunner and they get a flag. They played the DP Scout and they get a flag. They play 1 flag. They do have 1 flag in hand here. So, the most amount of damage they can do is probably something like Barbaros and 2 flags, which is 13 damage. As you can see, if I play Judith, I'm healing up to 14 and I have a damage shield, so we're definitely not dead to that. Against Sword loot in particular, the only thing that Divine Treasure does, well, mainly the only thing that the Shield of Transgression does is that it protects you from Barbarossa's 7 damage Storm. At this point, we won't die to Barbaros even with the 7 damage Storm, so getting the shield is... getting the 4 damage limit is pretty useless. The more scary possibility is something like double Tidal Gunner with a bunch of flags. We might instantly die to that. So for that reason, Judith on Enhanced 7 Judith is the better play here over the Divine Treasure. So here's that. And then we go ahead and get the 5 cost here. We don't necessarily have a way to win next turn right now, so going for the card draw here is better. We also put a Divine Treasure Harrow on board so that if they clear it next turn, then next turn we can play the shield if we need it. And then next turn we go ahead and just play Mercurial Might to make sure we don't take any damage. We go ahead and draw another Judith, which can help us next turn. And my opponent can't come back, so they just concede, and that's it for this game. So that's it for the games I have for you today. Hopefully gives you some idea of how this deck works. It's a pretty control-y deck. Honestly, between Wrath and Enhance, I think Wrath is more fun to play, so... and also if you're trying to climb, I would recommend Wrath over Enhance because Wrath is much faster. But this deck is definitely still very powerful in its own right. It has a lot of very, very powerful tools and a lot of... it has a very egregious PP cheating, so if you want to make use of that, you can play this deck. I think it's also technically cheaper than Wrath because the necessary legendaries, there aren't that many. You can replace some of the slots with like cheaper cards if you don't own these legendaries. But yeah, that's it for today. The commentary might have been a bit iffy because I'm a bit blur on the details because I played these games like a little while ago. Like usually I record like the games like right after I finish playing them, but this time it was a bit there's a bit of a time gap, so I kind of forgot how the games went, but hopefully it still was okay. It still gave you some idea of how to play the deck. So yeah, that's it for this video. I guess see you in the next one. Bye bye.